Agile ways of working have been in for years, but how effective has the practice been? After all, just because you've been cooking breakfast, lunch and dinner for decades doesn't mean you're a master chef.
The journey started in shared services where we ascertained the gradient of Agile excellence and uplifted towards enhanced operational delivery. This allowed the offer to duplicate this model into digital markets.
As a team, we're committed to learning and growing, so we extrapolated these learnings into digital markets, and that was what a group known as the Offer set out to do.
We're a team of dynamic entrepreneurial high performers, brought together to make incremental changes that create monumental differences in the pockets of our time. And the Perfect Projects Agile consulting model and associated Vitality Check tool is an output of that focus in line with the Agile strategy that was developed for digital markets. And over the next few minutes, we're going to share the journey with you.
Most people know that data is essential to baselining, and I'm a huge data nerd. So the Offer started by implementing a survey that was used in shared services and refactored it to suit digital markets' needs.
And the findings were fascinating and consistent across both teams. People said they were awesome Agilists, giving themselves a 7 out of 10. However, when a practical assessment was conducted, these same people scored on average 3 out of 10. Which begs the question, what exactly were they awesome at if they weren't clear on the Agile practices?
Both shared services and digital markets team data highlighted that most Agile journeys experience the same challenges, so we're not alone. And coaching and consulting by creating consistent ways of working is essential for uplift. One of the challenges was scaling what had worked before when there was only one coach focusing on continuous improvement.
So we took their success model and packaged it up to assess and uplift Agile within digital markets projects in a duplicatable, scalable way, and that's the essence of the Perfect Project approach. As you know, Agile comes in many flavours: Scrum, Safe, Lean and Kanban, and we packaged up the 9 core, common and simple Agile practices that facilitate cohesive conversations. With key ways of working in Agile ceremonies at its essence, the 9 practices are social contract, roles and responsibilities, backlog, priorities, feature elaboration, iteration and capacity planning, stand-ups, retrospectives and showcases.
We also aligned the practices to values. The social contract is a perfect example of working better together by having an agreement of how the team chooses to behave and operate. And retrospectives are ideal opportunities to find your courage and give honest feedback for continuous improvement.
We had 2 goals from the Agile strategy. Build a tool that assesses the current Agile maturity levels within digital markets, and once a baseline is identified, create uplift through a combination of consulting, training and coaching.
Because scalability was an issue in shared services, we built an online tool called the Vitality Check. But we also knew there were 2 components to Agile assessments.
What people report they do and what they actually do are often 2 different things, as the surveys showed. So we made sure the online assessment tool is combined with observation of teams in action to validate self-reported scores.
We knew we needed a tool to assess Agile maturity levels, so the development of the Vitality Check started with the 9 foundational Agile practices. We compiled and called questions and tested the flow. And the process also allowed us to discover and experience personal benefits.
As a program manager, it was really rewarding to hear that the Offer team members learned more during this short process than any Agile training or work practice they'd had in the past. And they were easily and instantly able to implement the knowledge in projects they were working on. Through testing, 2 things became apparent. Not all Agile practices are created equal. So certain questions were weighted on their contribution towards Agile success. The Vitality tool was built for anywhere, anytime online access. And this allows an experienced Agile coach to easily interview business and project team members, often starting with the project manager or Scrum Master.
The tool's output provides competency insights and is critical in developing a consulting, coaching and training pathway to influence vitality. An uplift example was in our Strategic Engagement Evolution initiative, with key Agile influencers in each digital markets team. That's where we launched the Agile Attitude and Fundamentals training, focusing on 9 common practices.
In addition to the offer's valuable contribution to building the tool and associated resources, you know what's been most exciting? The very things the team have been developing and practicing were the exact approaches the vendors for the Enterprise Agile gig were pitching. So the approach is fully on point and in alignment with major players in the market. And it totally validated that we have really smart people in our team.
The offer packaged a consulting implementation suite that comprises an Agile Understanding Survey, that's where we started the entire journey, the online Vitality Check tool, a guide on how to use the Vitality Check, and a Vitality Check report with suggested uplift notes that can be taken back to team leads so they know the actions they need to implement to improve future scores.
There's also a consultant's toolkit which supports the entire process with a back-to-basics approach using the 9 foundational practices. There's a baseline as-is assessment and uplift recommendations for your to-be journey.
Providing benefits of consistent data on how business and project teams currently operate in an Agile environment, allowing teams to embrace values from better together to trust each other to deliver through improved Agile ways of working and delivery, consistent practices with the aim of fueling delivery agility, continuous improvement clarity by interpreting the data and targeting specific practices to uplift, reflection opportunities as team members who experienced the Vitality Check process realised how they could immediately improve project areas by questions they were being asked and felt they weren't performing well in. The initiative also provides increased transparency of teams through Agile ceremonies and Jira, a tool to plan, track, release and report, and it can also be linked to strategically aligned performance indicators. You can use the 9 practices to build strong foundations within your projects and business.
But here's what we discovered. Like any awesome instrument, it's optimised when used in the hands of a professional. Anyone can pick up a Stradivarius violin, but only a few can truly make it sing. So ideally, the Vitality Check tool is best implemented by a highly competent Agile coach that has over 10 years experience across a wide variety of projects, industries, and combines that with coaching, consulting, and training uplift.
So that's it. The offer's experimental Agile evaluation and optimization journey to provide foundations that assess and uplift to fuel project success. And it's been satisfying to hear things like,
I'm glad to be asked these questions as it made me think of the Agile workings and where we're at. Or, this is great, this is what I've been waiting for such a long time. Doing the Vitality Check made me reflect on the areas we could improve in right now.
And although we've had our highs and challenges throughout the process, the feedback from those who experimented with us and experienced the approach made it fulfilling and worthwhile.